Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to our program again in English. We just finished the one in French, so if you did not get a chance to check that out, please check that out. And then we're gonna continue with English pro section. So before we go to that, I would like to give you this music. Then I'll be back so we can continue to our program.
Omega, el real. Tú si quieres, buscarte un fondo, un carro convertible y un mujerón. Tú si quieres, una mansión de verdad, terraza, piscina y vista al mar. Tú si quieres, que te traten VIP y que todo gire en torno a ti. Tú si quieres, tú si quieres. Ahora voy a ponerte claro que lo que buscando un sueño mucha gente se pierde por la envidia y la traición, por el dinero y la ambición. Se quedaron juntos, cada cual busca su rumbo. Uno de ellos pudo conseguir el triunfo, mientras que el otro la pasaba mal, viendo a su hermano brillar. De manito le decía lo bacano, porque tu pana no te busca y mete mano. Él respondía con humildad, me siento bien aunque yo no tenga nada. En el jangueo, todo el tiempo en para con lo feo, se está buscando toda la vaina en el meneo, pero era fácil identificar el carro blineado del capo del lugar. Sí, calado, siempre rangueado y blineado, haciendo culto con todo lo que se ha buscado, no sabiendo que la traición está en su cuero, ya lo están chequeando. Tú no quieres caer en la prisión, y si de fama tiguerón. Tú no quieres que te vea tu mamá en una sala de un hospital. Tú no quieres enfrentar la diversión, echarle con bala y un cañón. Tú no quieres, tú no quieres. La mañana al recibir un dinero, mientras contaba él sintió un arma de fuego que detonó varias veces en su cuerpo. Luego se fueron y lo dieron por muerto, y aquel amigo que siempre ignoró, al escuchar los disparos corrió y lo encontró en el suelo marido. No lo pensó para ayudar a su amigo, tomó el volante y lo llevó al hospital, y los doctores lo pudieron salvar. Esto no es cuento monstruo, esto es real, uno nunca sabe a quién va a necesitar. Si quieres efectivo paga tal, pero no te gusta trabajar. Si quieres, porque da la vanidad, pero no quieres lo que viene atrás. Tú si quieres, que te traten bien y que todo gire en torno a ti. Tú si quieres, no, si lo quieres, no, pero tú no quieres que te anden acechando por lo que tú te estás buscando. Tú no quieres un caso federal, una maldita guerra personal. Tú no quieres encontrar tu hogar vacío, porque tu familia la han perdido. Tú no quieres, tú no quieres. Tú no quieres, tú no quieres. El real, nadie fue conmigo. Uye, 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 uye. Si quieres, efectivo paga tal, pero no te gusta trabajar. Si quieres, porque da la vanidad, pero no quieres lo que viene atrás. Si quieres, que te trate bien a ti, y que todo gire en torno a ti. Si quieres, no, si no quieres.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Omega. Omega está la música de la española de la Sudamérica. Yo creo que L, Omega y L fuerte, si tú no L, L de la Cuba, yo creo que Cuba o Dominicana. Anyways, that was it. So that was Spanish music, as I was saying, and the music is in Spanish. So we're gonna continue with our program, and what do we have on Pan-African calendar this week, which is the last date or the last week of July. So we have Zimbabwe on July, Zimbabwean Benjamin Bulombo, and we have John Henrik Clark. In fact, yesterday I was reading one of his book, which is talk about Africa, the origin of European civilization. But we also have Mr. Yeah, I think that's all we have actually in the month of July. So anyways, we don't have much on Pan-African calendar. I was just going over a little quickly, and because all the program I did before, it was in English, in French, pardon. So I want to be able to cover some of the stuff we talked about in English so that I don't left you guys out of being informed what we were talking about. So I'm gonna try to cover that in a few minutes, just very quickly, so that you may be able to catch up with me. So anyways, that being said, we had a program with my friend from Niger, where we're talking about what's happened or what's going on in Niger, and he was trying to cover the country situation in Niger, so that our audience, those who speak French, can possibly understand what he was saying. But also, me too, I'm gonna be able to cover some of the things he say in English. So that pretty much what I'm trying to inform to you. Sorry for that. So now, what did he say? Pretty much, we're gonna cover one of the things. The situation in Niger, according to what he said, was one, that the situation is calm. There is no conflict or anything that is going on wrong. That was number one, because there in Niger, people do not understand exactly what's happened there, because it is not long ago when the people who did the coup, they were praising the president. So that was the number one. That is what he was able to say, that they don't understand what exactly was going on. And in fact, he was saying that people were protesting against the coup, the people who did the coup. Now, after that, as you can see, this protester, they are protesting on my screen. If you don't see, no problem. They are saying, nous voulons pas coup d'etat. So they say that we don't want a coup in Niger. They don't want that. But so tomorrow, he said that is expected to have a protester in the same country, capital city, which is in Yemen, in those who support the coup, people who took the coup. So now, if you don't know where is Niger, because a lot of people get confused in Niger and Nigeria, so I think on my map here you can see. Let me see if I can bring up another map, but you can see. You can see where it's located. So it's very much the most of high praise when it comes to what is going on in Africa, especially these days. Let me grab you a map so you can look on African map and see, because it's very little. African map is a little weird, so it's a little difficult to know what's going on. So this is where it is, Niger. So Niger is in north of Nigeria, as he was saying. They share same language as well. They're on north of Nigeria, which is the language is Hausa. So they share the language that is spoken in north Nigeria, Kano, which is Hausa. And then you have also Benin, which is a border of Niger as well, which is the border of Nigeria in West Nigeria. And then you have Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso had a coup, I think is last year. Last year, Burkina Faso was in a coup. And then you have another country in northwest, which is Mali, that had a coup also last year. And then you have another country, little far neighbor, which will be Guinea. If you look here, you can see this one in Guinea here. They had a coup also last year. And then you come to this place here, which is Chad in East Niger. There was a coup, but also there was the assassination of president. So you see, this is a very, very high risk place. But if little far, you found Sudan, where is they still in fight, because after the coup took place, it's been 2 or 3 coups happen in Sudan. And now in the north, you got Libya, which is not stable country at all. And then you got Algeria, which of course is the only stable country in this region of North Africa, you can say. So this is where the location of Niger is. So now Niger is among the poor country, of course, but also when you say poor, because France is stealing everything they have. He was talking about that. The uranium that they have that produce the power, around 80% of the power in France is produced by uranium that comes from this country, Niger. So now, why is this very important? Because there is what they call Sahara terrorists, which it took place from when Mr. Obama and his Vice President Hillary Clinton, they removed Gaddafi and they destroyed Libya. They were just, you guys, you remember this. I don't want to go over that because it's something you all should remember. If you're a Pan-Africanist, you definitely have the clue why they removed Gaddafi or they assassinate him like that. Very, very bad. I think France should be able to be held accountable and actually put to justice for that. But anyways, so in this area we have terrorism, which is there is a blame, or there is some people are putting fingers. I can't find the exact word in English to use here, that the terrorists are organized by the Western countries to keep that area not stable. You know, there is terrorism in North Nigeria, the Boko Haram, there is extremists, Al Qaeda, and so many terrorists going on in this area from Chad, Sudan, Niger, Libya, Burkina Faso, Mali, and so on. So, so what is going on here is that there have been some kind of changing. People are moving from being under the dominance of France, which is the controlling major player in this area, trying to leave the France and then go to trying to leave and go to most of the time they are moving towards Russia. So pretty much that's what happened. So now what is going to possibly happen is that if you look where the coup has been taking place, as I was saying here, we have Guinea here, which is this area here. So we have Guinea. I think it's Guinea Conakry that had a coup, and then after that we have another coup here. We had a Bamako Mali coup. So you can see it's creating kind of a map in West Africa. And then we had another coup in Burkina Faso. So now is this area. And then now we have another coup in Niger. So I think if you look careful, maybe people in Nigeria and Benin, Togo, those places and Ivory Coast, they should be very, very careful, because this area, and don't forget also Guinea, Bissau, and Senegal, those countries should be very careful. And Chad, with the coup, it may happen because Chad is the only one in the middle that is not experienced coup. But people are doing those coups because some people, they believe that the electoral service that we have in Africa is just another way of controlling Africa. So anyways, that being said, that is what happened in in Niger, and I'm gonna leave you this music possibly. Then I will be right back so we can discuss other topics that I want to share with you guys.
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle. And after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
And I got a king sat up on the throne of Ethiopia. To the Marcus Mahadar to Watsuma. Salam Naju. Greetings. Black Rosalams and Jamba.
400 years, 100 millions, and many more. We were back like fish in a can of chips and of Guinea shows. Yeah. They took black magic and shanties golden stool. Oh yes, we worked the plantations and never get no pay. It's a full-time no, we set to the score. Yes, a full-time no, that people should know. Africa, you know royalty. Africa, you know royalty. Mama Africa, you know royalty. Africa, you know royalty. You see, a nation without any mystery is like a tree with a root. That kind of tree could never bear no fruit, Mama Africa. Before we dance abroad, we got to learn to dance a yard. Divide and rule could only tear us apart. I and I tight, Hakuna Matata, make me stop all the fight. Been through the struggle and washed down the drain. So much agony and so much pain. Oh, children sing, you're not rioting. Mama Africa, you're not rioting. Africa, you're not rioting. Africa, you're not rioting.
Yo, as a people, we want to live in peace and harmony. The wicked pale-faced man ransacked the rank and file with anarchy. Papa was slaughtered like a goat in a butchery. Mama was raped.
Yeah, that's it. Let me leave this alone for now. And yeah, let me leave this alone now. And we're going to continue with another part I want to discuss with you, which is Africa, Russia-Africa summit. So I want to share a few things or few stories here, which is, let me see, which one is that gonna be? Now, yeah, the speech of Russia-Africa summit was the speech of South African president. But before I go through that, I want to tell you what happened. What is the Africa-Russia summit? Africa-Russia summit is the idea that Russia take all the leaders from Africa and then take them to Russia. After that, they are sitting there and they discuss whatever issues going on, and then after that, they decide something, So I want to just highlight that is what is going on in Russia, but this year, it was a little more different compared to other summits. I think it takes place after 3 years every time. But this year was a little different because Russia is having the war that is impacting everyone. So pretty much a lot of African people have shown support to Russia actually compared to Ukraine and the Western. So that is number one. Number two, but also I want to be clear that despite I oppose the idea of African leaders being assembled to one country, as my audience, my special guest was talking about that in French, that if any country need African, they should just come to Africa and, now we go to them. So I believe that is supposed to be true, but also I strongly believe that African countries should be able to should be able to appreciate for Russian Federation the help or the assistance that Russia have given to African people for many years, I can possibly say, but also there should be also another way of looking to see this kind of things, because Russia is fighting for her own interests, not for African interests. So that is one of the things people need to be able to understand very clear, pretty much. Let me play this video, then I'll be right back.
They used to count their wealth in the number of slaves that they owned, that were taken from the African continent.
Welcome to Candid Africa, truthful and unapologetic.
As South Africa, and indeed as Africa, we are greatly encouraged by the Russian Federation's commitment to deepening collaboration with the nations of Africa. This is important as we chart a new course for economic development, growth, and prosperity, and as we seek to achieve the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. As South Africa, we remember with deep gratitude how the support of the people and the government of the then Soviet Union supported our struggle for liberation, as well as the struggles of many other countries and nations on our African continent. Today, our bilateral relationship remains strong. We continue to collaborate in political, economic, social, defense, and security spheres. We work closely across multilateral platforms such as the United Nations, the G20, and as members of BRICS. Our participation in forums such as this one is guided by our quest to realize the African Union's Agenda 2063 vision of economic integration and inclusive socio-economic development. As you know, and
so yeah, I don't want to continue with this, but I think you understand what President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, have to say about this, that the Western, like most of Western, that's what he's talking about, that they used to own, you know, they used to count the worth by counting the heads of people that they were slaving, and then they want to keep applying that again. So, and for that, so he's talking about things like that. But you know, President of South Africa, he's a member of this BRICS. You know, how do you call that? Those power countries, I don't know how you call them, but anyways, so he's a member of that. So he's among the people who are influential when it comes to Russia, African, possibly, you know, Russia, African things, you know. So anyways, I think that, in my opinion, I think, yeah, it is good to appreciate people who stand with you, but also you should be watching out, because as Stephen Biko say that black men, you are alone. So there is no one in reason you should think that Russia is gonna be the best one compared to the other ones who we have invited, and then they abused us, as Piero Lumumba he say owns, that we welcome them and then they abuse us. So I am trying to find the video to see if I can play that for you. So there is not one thing you can possibly say that they're not gonna abuse us. So anyways, I don't think I can find that, but I was trying to find that. But anyways, so pretty much my point is that all these presidents who went to Russia is fighting for its own best interests. They are not fighting for any country in Africa, and possibly we should not even have our leaders going there as it is. We should first think how to unite ourselves instead to send people. I think this is Vice President of or Minister of Foreign Affairs. I think I'm not sure of Tanzania. Yeah, I think so. But who is coming in now? But we should not sending our people like that, our leaders through there. Why don't we unite? Why don't we actually? Because unity, Russia is powerful because it's big. But we are sending the Eritrea Djibouti president. We are sending Eritrean president, whom I'm gonna show you what he have to say in a second. So I think the first idea is that, or the first point I'm trying to make is that our people should not go there thinking that Russia is seeking their interests. Later, Russia is seeking her own interest to change whether the ground, is seeking power. For that reason, I think we African, we should be able to watch out for that. So, anyways, let me give you another video here, and then we will be back. I'm gonna talk to you about what this gentleman have to say. I'm not gonna go over anything that maybe our Putin or Russian leader have to say. I'm just gonna go over a few things about our own leaders, what they have to say. So let me see. I think this will be the one.
Встречи и участие завтра в общеафриканской дискуссии.
So the next video I'm gonna show you is gonna be from the Eritrean president. He's the one who's gonna be speaking. So let me give that to you, and then you will come back and then we discuss.
Это мы с вами вчера еще собирались встречаться, но вот и ваше сегодняшнее участие в общей.
One issue that worries me, I was patient listening to people talk. I was patient listening to people talking on these meetings, and one issue that worries me, I just want to articulate that issue and say our views, at least how we see the situation from our perspective. When people talk about Russia, Ukraine, I say there is no Russia-Ukraine war at all. There is no Russia-Ukraine conflict. This is the war declared by NATO on Russia. The war declared by NATO on Russia is not only for Russia, it's for dominating the whole world. It's for hegemony. This is an agenda developed after the end of the Cold War. They came up with this fantasy about containing Russia, containing any power, small, big, that challenge them technologically, economically, socially, culturally. They have to contain everybody. This defunct ideology, it's a defunct ideology. I say Russia did not do its preparation to face this declared war. Even though Russia was aware about the dynamics of what was going on. NATO is defunct. NATO does not exist. NATO is under intensive care. EU does not exist. EU is under intensive care. Now, 30 years ago, when they decided to contain Russia, they felt that was the major threat for them. China was not considered a threat at that time. Now they know. They missed the point. They couldn't contain Russia. They will never contain Russia. Ukraine is a sacrifice. Ukraine is a price they have to pay. They will not pay it on their own. They will provide billions and billions, even trillions, to continue this war. And now we need to have the narrative straight. This is not war between Russia and Ukraine. This is declared war against Russia because Russia was the major threat at the time. Now they can't dominate the whole world. They have to defeat Russia so that they hegemonize everything. No one should be their equal technologically. Militarily, they have to be superior. Economically, they have to control everything, grab every resource here and there, technology under their control. That dream is no more. Now the fighting going in Ukraine, it's their battleground. That battleground is a sacrifice for them. And we need to put this straight on the record. When a big meeting like this, Russia, Africa is held, people will have to come to a consensus. This is not war between Russia and Ukraine, to me. And anyone who has a different explanation will have to tell me. This is war declared on Russia, but declared war for hegemony. The last 30 years, we have seen the details of the mechanics of this declared war. This last event is the final phase to me. It will end sometime. NATO will not get out of intensive care. EU will not get out of intensive care. These are systems that are crumbling. It's only a matter of time. And the whole world will have to be prepared, not to defend Russia, but stand with Russia so that this hegemonistic idea will not prevail at any point in time in history. How do we design a plan? How do we fail this one without any further cost? They are printing money. They are not manufacturing anything at all. It's printing money. And this has been one of their weapons globally. The monetary system, the global monetary system, controlled by dollar and euro, has been used. Sanctions here, sanctions there, sanctions there, grabbing this account, grabbing that account, has been one of their tools. This is not going to continue indefinitely. And we need a new financial architecture globally, not controlled by euro, not controlled by the dollar, not controlled by other currencies. To me, this failure of the attempt to contain Russia will immediately move to the east. Containing China is their next agenda. They may be playing a very deceptive tactic on trying to tell everyone, oh no, we have to work with China, we have to do this and that. Their miscalculation about China has proved to be wrong. They felt probably they have the technology, they have everything. The Chinese can only copy. They will never equal them. So they will contain Russia, but make friendship with China and continue taking advantage of that so that containing Russia will be easier for them to do. Now China is out of control. Containing China from Taiwan, from India, from Japan, from South Korea, from Australia. How do they do it? How will they do it? That challenge is coming next. But first they need to deal with Russia. How are they going to deal with Russia and then next move to China? How can they deal with everybody? How do they contain us? Imagine this tiny Eritrea is being contained by them. We're being punished with their sanctions every time. We have to be punished because we're not bowing. We are not bowing to their conditionalities. We are a very small threat. We are not even a threat to them. But they have to contain us. Sanctions, 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 sanctions.
Here you hear that that is the president of Eritrea, Isias Afwerki, talking about how the Western are in intensive care, but also they are trying to contain everyone. They are containing Russia, they are containing China, they are containing everyone in every country, which by the way is true, but also I don't think this is good. Anyways, I don't want to make comments on that. But another point I want to make on this is that Siasaf Walker, he's talking about giving the power to Putin to be able to defeat the Western. Yeah, they should defeat them if they want to, but I think he don't understand the fact that either the West or the Eastern, they are not all pro-Africa in that sense, because black men, you are alone. That is Stephen Biko from South Africa. So I know, as I said, I recognize that Russia or other China or whatever it is they have. In fact, I think Russia is the best one. They have stand with African people, as Ramaphosa was saying that too as well, during the colonial time and slavery time, especially ending colonial and apartheid in South Africa, Russia, and China, they were on the front to help African nations to fight against those kind of things. But in other hand, that also does not make them to be the one that we should learn to on anything. Instead, we should try to get used to run to our own people. You know, why don't we, instead of going through those places, why don't we face our own countries? You know, and stick with together more than going to stick with other people. Because trust me on this, once Russia overcome the Western, they will not do any better than what the Indian did to Africa, what the Turkish did to Africa, or what the other countries have done to us, like the Germans or the French or English and America. So everyone we welcome us in Africa, they always turn us down and do as dirty as they can. So I don't think Russia would be different, and I don't even think it's a good idea to be able to put that in that concept. But anyways, let me give you Museveni what he have to say, and then see what we're gonna talk about that too.
On account of modern medicine, Africa will have optimal population for the fact the whole of Africa had been colonized except for Ethiopia. This colonization followed 500 years of taking slaves from Africa and the devastation that criminal trade caused. It was not only Africa that was colonized, but also much of Asia, India, Indonesia, Indochina, Burma, the Philippines, Malaysia, etc., and the subjugation and extermination of the indigenous people of the Americas and Australia. However, these criminal acts by the imperialists, the slave trade and colonialism, provoked the colonized people into launching a resistance movement by some of the black people in the United States of America, in the persons of Du Bois and Pademont, who launched the Pan-African movement. This was the first step. Secondly, in 1912, the African National Congress of South Africa was launched, led by new resistance fighters.
So Museveni, he is actually going through the whole history of Pan-Africanism and to show how they have been doing this and how we try to liberate ourselves, and they still doing the same thing. So pretty much, I don't think there is something new he have to say here, but let me give you this music, then I will come back so we can actually continue with this China, Russia, and then after that I will give you my conclusion to that. But let me just play this music for a second.
Ulindlela emankokho
Yeah. That is it for that. That was South African musicians Weezer from Zulu language. And so anyways, moving on, I'm gonna play a little video of one of the leader who actually shocked me. That was President of Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa, who is talking now. Let me give that to you so that you may be able to see that. President Mnangagwa is a Zimbabwean president who actually been struggling with Zimbabwe as a
Your Excellency, Mr. President.
Sorry for that. I put the wrong one. That is not who I'm looking for, but let me see. Yeah, that was not the right one. Sorry for that. I was shocked even one is playing, but
imposed on both our countries and the subsequent box in view of the sanctions.
Candid Africa, truthful and unapologetic.
In view of the sanctions imposed on both our countries and the subsequent challenges in undertaking US dollar denominated transactions, Zimbabwe is agreeable to pursue alternative autonomous solutions and the use of alternative forms of payment for various transactions. I'm happy that the Russian Federation has already accomplished this as a result of the sanctions imposed on your republic. Your Excellency and dear brother, allow me to convey my sincere gratitude for the donation of 11,000 metric tons of potash fertilizer and 9,000 metric tons of ammonium nitrate fertilizer. This gesture is true testimony of the friendship of the Russian Federation to the people of Zimbabwe. This further reflects your personal commitment to support the transformation of our country's agriculture in the attainment of food security and sovereignty. I thank you. May I also inform you that for 3 years now, Zimbabwe is food secure. With the model of agriculture we've adopted and the support we've received from your country, I believe that Zimbabwe will remain food secure. Most notable is the deepening cooperation between Zimbabwe and Russian Federation in advanced science and space technology. I recall the joint research implementation agreement between Zimbabwe National Geospatial Agency, ZINGSA, and the Southwest University on Space Science and Technology Innovation, which was signed in October 2021. This has ultimately led to the finalization of the design, manufacture of nuclear education. The 20 candidates under the scholarships are scheduled to commence their studies in September this year. Our Zimbabwean institutions are ready to promote more direct partnerships with educational and research institutions of the Russian Federation. May I also, Your Excellency, mention that in the same vein, I acknowledge the support of the Russian Federation of the Museum of African Liberation Project being hosted by Zimbabwe, hosted for the African continent. In particular, the establishment of the Russia Solidarity Movement at the Liberation City. Further, we welcome the raising of the Russian Federation flag at the Liberation Museum site as an important symbolic gesture, recognizing the immense contribution of the Russian Federation in the liberation of the African continent from colonialism. Your Excellency, the collaboration between our two countries at the multilateral fora, more so against continued Western aggression against the two countries, Zimbabwe strongly opposes the use of sanctions as a foreign policy tool which undermines the sovereignty of nations. Zimbabwe has been under these sanctions from the West for the last 23 years. But as a result, we now think outside the box and use our domestic resources to grow and expand our economy. May I highlight that Zimbabwe intends to bid for a non-permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council for the period 2027 to 2028. We appeal for the support of the Russian Federation.
Yeah, here you got it. So he's saying that Zimbabwe has been under sanction. There is 2 points I want to make here. Number one is that Zimbabwe has been under sanction the past 22 years, which is absolutely true. But also, I think on that point, what have African countries done in the struggle with Zimbabweans? Because I always often say that as a Pan-Africanist, what have we done? Because how can a country be under sanction for 20-some years and there is no voice come from Kenya, there's no voice come from Ghana, there's no voice come from Niger or Nigeria, there's no voice come from Senegal or Mali or the other countries? Why is that? Why there is no voice come from Ethiopia or something like that? At least we should protest to show the support of Zimbabwe. But anyways, so of course, in one way, it shows how Western are using sanctions to destroy people's economy, which Zimbabwe was actually, I don't know if you remember, before Zimbabwe started to use the American dollar, and then it was the Zimbabwean money was very, very low. So anyways, that is number one. And then another thing I want to talk about is the nuclear students. I think that would be good if African people or some African countries can have nuclear weapons, because that shows the power at least. If Russia is willing to teach our people how to use those nuclear weapons or nukes, that would be absolutely very good. So I think that is 2 points I want to make on Zimbabwean president's speech. But I want to hurry up because I got a lot going on here. I want to bring in, I think, I don't know if it is necessary, but anyways, so I want to bring in the other information we have about news. So there is a interview that Mr. Trucker Carlson had with Ice Cube. Ice Cube is a lot of you guys, I think you know him because he's one of the movie actors whom a lot of people know very well because he have done so many movies in past years. So he's among the like people you can call the ancients of the movies and so on. So he had an interview on a few days ago, I believe, with Tucker Carlson. Who is Tucker Carlson? Tucker Carlson is a journalist who was removed from Fox News. Fox News is among the biggest news outlet or cable news, what we call indoctrination machine. So, anyways, he was removed from there because they accuse him of this and that. I don't know, but it seemed like he was talking something very, very crazy, especially when it comes to what he was talking about. These people, he was going over what the boss don't want him to say. You know, these news are controlled. So, anyways, so they fired him from Fox News, and now he started his own program. But it was bad move for Fox News, anyways, because he's the one who was holding Fox News to be watched. So now the news is down. So now, so he started another program for himself where he talks about a lot of things. So he invited Ice Cube, and I want you to listen to the interview a little bit, and then we'll come back and discuss.
Take abuse for doing that. Like, why would you do that?
Because I think it's silly not to talk to people. I think whether we agree or not,
right?
That has nothing to do with it. You know, it's like, this is what it's all about. Let's talk about it. Let's debate. And you know, I've been shut out.
Wait, that sounds like right-wing extremism and whataboutism.
But I've been shut out. You know, some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, you know, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, you know, I'm an outsider. And so, you know, I'm not part of the club. So I have to go places for one, that I'm welcome, and where I can voice my opinion. That person, and that they never want to have me on their platform again.
What platforms have banned you?
I've been you know, I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. You know, I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but
you'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
You know, it's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I've, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Me too. You know, I don't know what it is, but, you know, several of my, you know, I had a movie called Barbershop, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
That I wasn't invited to participate with the cast. I produced a show called Black White, and it was a very controversial show. And once again, they had the whole cast on, but I wasn't invited. And so I don't know. I don't know
Oprah,
what that's
on Oprah's show.
Yeah. So I don't know what that's.
But Oprah's obviously a saintly, godlike figure who's revered by all decent people. Why would she exclude you?
I really don't know. You know, that's something that I would love to find out. But I can't tell you, you know, if there's a single thing that I've done or said to her.
Have you noticed that it is more controversial to criticize Oprah than to burn the American flag?
Really?
Seems that way. I've never heard anybody criticize Oprah. Do you think it's political or do you think it's deeper than that? I mean, you're not like a right winger.
No.
You don't even seem that political.
No, I'm not really. I'm pretty much, you know, just want to do right by the people, you know. So if that comes through political means, that comes through the private sector, wherever it comes, you know, I'm down to work with whoever's down to do something right for the people.
So I remember reading you say something along the lines of, I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not a Trump voter. You actually attacked Trump at one point, but you were willing to meet with Trump. Do you think that crossed a line?
I think some people didn't like that, but I think it's idiotic. You know, enemies meet.
Right.
You know, they talk. I'm pretty sure there's some communication between Russia and the Ukraine right now. Somebody's on the phone talking to somebody, trying to come up with a solution. So we just got to talk. That's the only way we're going to work this out. You know, I know when the talking stops, the fighting starts. You know, a lot of people, they, you know, think I'm a, you know, Republican. I'm a right winger. Just because I was willing to speak to the Trump administration, I mean, and I was willing to speak with the Biden administration as well. You know,
have you?
One guy in the administration, but it didn't go anywhere. You know, it was basically a, you know, take my temperature kind of call. We'll get to it, like, but you know, they never got to it or never planned to. Matter of fact, the guy left the administration. So, you know, after talking to him for a year or so, he was gone, and then, you know, we were left really with no one to continue the conversations.
What do you think of Biden?
I don't think he's given the people who put him in exactly what they thought they were going to get from him.
But his most loyal voters, according to the polls anyway, are black voters, particularly black women.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what happens or doesn't happen. So do you expect they ever will change?
You know, whether they become independents and not vote for anybody who's not bringing it. You know, it's like people want your vote. They have to do something to earn it. If they don't earn it, why are you going down there and pulling that lever?
Because the other side hates you. That's the pitch they make. We may suck, but the other side hates you.
You're supposed to dance with the person you brought.
Yeah.
You know? And the person that brought you to the dance, you guys are supposed to dance together. And if that doesn't happen, you got to go find another dancing partner before the night is up and the music stops.
Yeah, so if that does not happen, you're going to have to find someone to dance with before the music is up. So now, what is the takeout from this? The fact is that Mr. Ice Cube, people misunderstand him because people are, what was his name? Dr. Omar Johnson, he said that Negroes have money, but they don't have power. So Ice Cube, he's trying to have power on his own. That's one of the hard things that actually going on. So I don't know if you remember, he was told to come and get a movie, not long ago, and then he was supposed to be vaccinated, and he said no. I think it was around the millions, 80 millions or something like that. He turned that down. He said that I need my life more than money. So he decided to leave that. So from that time, people don't call him like, they think because he don't go with the narratives of vaccinations, of electing, all Black people most of the time. You guys, I'm talking to my fellow Africans who live in America as African or Black people. You vote for the Democrats without even asking why. So he's not part of that. Maybe, I don't know who he voted for, I don't know, and I don't care. But as I have been saying, it does not matter who you vote for. None of those is gonna make any change for Black people's lives. I think it's already clear. But also, he believes not really in Black things or anything. He just feel like any person, it is good to have conversation with them because that will end a lot of the problems, which is, by the way, true. Because trust me on this, it's not all white people who are evil or all white people are bad to us. It's just a few of them who have power, and I use that to make sure that we keep separated. I believe if we were to get those few of them who make us fighting each other, we will get along as white people and Black people or any other person, I think, in my opinion. So I always believe that as well, that since we don't know who is the bad one, that's why we just say all white people. But if there was any way we can select and found out who is bad, then I think it would be more easy to defeat them, the bad ones, than just keep that in that sense. So anyways, yeah, that is him. He's talking about how he was excluded with Winfrey Oprah. She is the bad one. Anyways, she's corrupting people by teaching them people this kind of fake faith or fake religion that she come up with. And also her scam in South Africa with the school where they were doing the children trafficking. So I think, as Carson said, no one criticized her, but I did now. So that should get in there. So anyways, I think that being said, that was it for today. If there is any comment you would like to talk about, please let me know. In US, we have election campaign is gonna start, I think, next month. So we will keep our eyes on it. But also, what is other things? The Trump. I know some Black people may be support of Trump. He is gonna get another indictment. I don't know what the heck is that. Anyways, but so that is another thing that is coming up. So that being said, I wish you a wonderful weekend. I will see you on next one. I believe tomorrow I'm gonna have a program in Kiswahili. So we're gonna cover all of these things that I was talking about. But I want to leave you with my best music, which is I didn't play any music today in Kiswahili, so I'm gonna have to find it. Yeah, this one here.
Modhani nikikurimemba KK natoka jasho. Modhani nikikurimemba natiririkwa na machozi. Nikikumbuka vile nilikuwa nimekukipu kwangu. Nirudi kwa nyumba yangu na huku wewe unatosheka. Wewe ni useless, wewe ni bezilezi. Kaishi mwana mwembu sitavongeti uambie vya. Maisha ukiwa kwangu ni kama ya paka wa dukani. Kila siku karibu nyama choma na kadhalika na etc. Mwishowe niligundua mimi gari nikienda kazi, unaingia mtaa na ruti mbaya kama matatu. Mimi na rigireti, wewe ni dangerous, wewe ni kolomboksi ya kutumiwa na kila mtu. Remember the day tulionana na wewe, ulikuwa very thin and wana utiva. Remember, sidhani kama kuna mwanaume angekufikiria, na mimi nikakulisha mpaka ukame ama njapa. Sasa uambiliki wala uzemezeki, kazi niliyofanya upate shepu umesahau. Jumapili ya ejita ndiyo nimeenda overtime, nikatoka nikapiga raundi nikikutaimu. Nilikuwa na viti sana hata ukivuka choroni, hata ukunjali kuangalia kama iko gari. Kume wewe ni taxi, siyo bazonoka. Whether you like it or not, urafiki siku hizi unahitaji uaminifu, na bado naona wewe ni kifagio ya sitikazo. Nadhani niondoke, sitaki ukifanifu.
Chunga maisha bana, kwa dunia usipokongana gari utagongana na ukimwi. Siju kagongana na ukimwi. Ukimwi in Swahili means HIV. Ukimwi in Swahili means HIV. So anyways, that being said, I wish you a wonderful weekend. I will see you on the next one. Mungu ibariki Africa. God bless Africa. And God bless you too. Mi amigo y amigas, señor y señoritas, niño y niña de África, de Sudamérica, gracias y Dios bendigo África. Ándale pues.